so we're diving into some really heavy stuff today.
Yeah.
You guys sent in a lot of really concerning reports about these California wildfires.
Yeah.
And, obviously it's a really rough situation, but we're gonna try to break down everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
From like the people who've been affected to what this means in the long term.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is it sounds like things are about to get even worse with these Santa Ana winds.
Yeah. The Santa Anas are no joke.
So this is going to be a deep dive.
Big time.
That you won't soon forget.
It's a devastating situation in Southern California for sure.
Yeah, and I think to really understand how bad it is, we should probably start with just like the hard numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, we're talking at least 25 lives lost.
Oh, wow.
40,000 acres burned and over 12,300 structures just gone.
It's hard to even imagine 12,300.
It's hard to fathom, yeah.
Yeah.
Homes, businesses, livelihoods just wiped out.
So what does that even mean for those communities in the long run? I mean, like, what happens next?
Well, I mean, obviously the immediate impact is just complete devastation, but the ripple effects are going to be felt for years to come.
Oh.
We're talking displacement, economic hardship, and a really long road to recovery for these people who have lost everything.
Yeah.
And beyond that, even, you have to think about the environmental impact.
Oh, right.
The loss of vegetation, wildlife habitat, which leads to soil erosion.
Oh, wow.
Potential flooding, and major changes to the ecosystem.
So it's like a domino effect almost.
Exactly. It's a long road back.
It's hard to even think about because, like you said, we're talking about people.
Yeah.
These numbers represent families.
Exactly. And it's easy to get lost in the statistics.
Right.
But we have to remember that every single number represents a life.
Right.
A story, a community that's been impacted by this.
Yeah.
And the psychological toll on the survivors who have seen this devastation is immense.
Yeah.
It's going to take so much support and resources to help these communities heal.
Yeah. And I know one of the things that I read was that they're still not even sure what caused these fires.
Yeah.
And they were talking about investigators focusing on some area around the Palisades fire.
Right. And, investigating wildfire origins is really complicated.
I bet.
It's like piecing together this puzzle. And a lot of times there's not much to go on.
Yeah.
They use a lot of different things: witness accounts, burn patterns, weather data, and even forensic analysis of the debris to try and pinpoint the exact location and the cause of the ignition.
Well, and there's always so many, just like misconceptions about what causes these things. So could you maybe clear some of that up for us? Like, what are the most common things that start wildfires?
Well, I mean, obviously lightning strikes are a big one, a common natural cause. But, human activity actually plays a surprisingly large role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it could be something as simple as a downed power line or a discarded cigarette, or even equipment malfunction. And then, unfortunately, you also have intentional acts of arson, which are a factor in some cases.
So it's not always natural.
Not always.
Yeah. I know one of the other things they're really worried about is like the health effects of all this smoke.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Los Angeles County even declared like a public health emergency.
Yeah, they did, and for good reason. Smoke inhalation is a serious issue, especially for vulnerable groups like children, the elderly, people with pre-existing respiratory conditions.
Right.
It can worsen asthma, trigger heart problems, and even lead to long-term lung damage.
Yeah, and I feel like most people understand like the immediate dangers, like you can't breathe and stuff.
Right.
But what about like long-term effects? Are there things people should be worried about that they might not even realize?
Yeah, there's a lot of research coming out now about the impact of fine particulate matter.
What is that?
So those are the tiny particles in smoke that can get deep into your lungs and even enter your bloodstream. Oh, gosh.
And studies are showing potential links to increased risk of heart disease, stroke, even cognitive decline later in life.
Oh, no.
So it's like this silent threat that can linger long after the fires are out.
Wow. So it's not just, like while the fire's burning, it's like long after.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now, to make all of this even worse, we have these Santa Ana winds that are coming.
They're kicking up again.
They're saying it's going to create like what they call extremely critical fire conditions.
That's not good.
So what are these Santa Ana winds, and like, why are they so bad?
Well, they're not just a local thing. They're actually linked to larger weather patterns and even climate change.
Oh, wow.
So the increasing dryness and the heat that we're seeing are making these winds even more dangerous.
Right.
They drive those really fast-moving fires, and it makes them incredibly difficult to contain.
It's like they're almost creating the perfect conditions for these fires to spread.
So it's like widespread destruction, this ongoing danger, and then all these potential long-term health impacts.
Right.
What's the takeaway here? Like, what do we do?
Well, I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we adapt?
Yeah.
As these wildfires become more frequent and more intense, we have to think about ways to mitigate the risk and protect our communities.
Yeah.
This means taking individual responsibility, being aware of fire safety, and supporting policies that promote things like forest management and fire prevention. It's a challenge, but it's one we have to face head on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a really informative deep dive.
It has.
And obviously really important to keep talking about.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
And to everyone listening, please stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe.
We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Absolutely.
But for now, that's it for our deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye. Bye.